All right, men, welcome to today's episode of Strong Men, Strong Marriages: how to control your emotions in your Christian marriage relationship. So, this is a common thing, right? We can lose our tempers, we can get frustrated, we can, feel like we're breaking down, feel like we're super anxious if we don't feel like our marriage is going well. So, uh, useful thing to figure out how to control, how to manage your emotions in a Christian marriage relationship. I don't love the word control or manage, and we'll talk about why, but this is probably what you're looking for. What you think you need. So my name is Mike Fraser, MD. I'm a psychiatrist and marriage coach, and I help high-achieving Christian men have more intimate marriages. So some wins from guys in the program this week. Guys are reconnecting with things that they enjoy. So a lot of guys I work with, they're hard workers. They're doing great things for their family. But they can kind of lose themselves, and I'm like, hey, what do you do for fun? And they can't really answer it, and that's a problem. When you lose yourself, you actually become less attractive when you're all about your wife and your kids. It sounds like that should be attractive, but it ends up not really being that attractive, because it's you need to have some of yourself. You need to bring yourself and your joy to the marriage. So guys are doing that in the program. It's part of what we do. Guys are getting better at listening. So there's a big complaint a lot of wives have. High achieving Christian guy, he's got a lot on his mind, and sometimes he doesn't do a very good job listening to his wife. So that can leave her feeling left out. Lack of mental emotional connection, which typically leads to less sexual connection, which can lead to separation, that sort of thing. So yeah, guys are doing a lot better at that, getting into their wife's shoes, not getting defensive, that sort of thing. Guys are having better emotional control and management. And again, I don't love that phrasing, but that's how I used to look at it and how most guys used to look at it. But yeah, they're not losing their tempers. They're not, um, doing these things. They're not freaking out. They're not like riddled by anxiety as much. They're learning how to manage those things. Guys are standing up for themselves against rude or inappropriate comments from their wives. So look, sometimes wives will cross a line. They'll be very insulting. They will, be cursing, yelling, throwing things, doing stuff like that. And sometimes guys have gotten into a position where they don't stand up for themselves. They've kind of given into that. So guys instead are standing up to that, setting appropriate boundaries, and feeling strong. And while it's counterintuitive, but doing that actually is more attractive and strong. Well, it's kind of clearly stronger, but paradoxically, it's also more attractive to your wife. For me personally, I've been doing a better job listening, connecting with my wife. It's something I've been working on, and seeing the effects. Really valuing her opinion more has been something my main focus lately, and it's making a difference. So what you're trying now is probably trying to control, quote unquote, control your emotion. Okay? So if you start feeling, um, you know, um, you start feeling angry, you're trying to just push that away. Oh, I don't feel angry. Your wife's like, hey, you look mad. Oh, no, I'm not. Your kid's like, oh, you're mad. No, you're not. If you've listened for a while, when I play sports with my kids, man, I'm way better now than I used to be, because of using these skills and managing my thinking around it and that sort of thing. But yeah, like I would start getting mad when they were scoring on me. I'd start like going after them, kind of getting too physical. They'd be like, "Dad, you're getting mad." I'd be like, "No, I'm not." Right? So like pretending like you're not is a common thing guys will do. Um, if they're feeling anxious, they'll just say, "Oh, like I'm not really anxious," or maybe they'll admit it, but they'll just kind of like not really know what to do with that one. They'll try to push it down, try to distract themselves, but then it just comes back. That can be a tough one. When guys are sad, they'll be like, "Oh, I'm not sad. I'm just, eating a ton of food or drinking a bunch of alcohol," which is basically just kind of masking those emotions. Um, we're just trying to push them down. I don't feel it. Get through it. Stop focusing on it. Don't be a baby. Man up. Right? They'll kind of go that approach with it. Um, and a lot of that comes from a fear of going overboard. So like if I get too anxious, I'm never going to recover. If I get too mad, I'm going to do something damaging to people. If I get too sad, I'm going to like fall apart, or never come back from that. I'll just be so sad I can't even function. So a lot of guys have that fear that if they kind of let those emotions come, they're going to be too much to handle. Another reason why guys don't want to feel those emotions is because they don't want to look weak to their wife. They don't want to show their wife, I'm feeling anxious or angry. Maybe they feel a little more comfortable showing that. It seems stronger, but They know they don't want to lose their temper with their wife. They don't want to look sad in front of their wife. They don't want her to see that he's sad that she's, so distant or cheating on him or whatever, right? So they'll kind of suck it up and not show that, act like they're not feeling hurt or sad or whatever. Push those emotions down, act like they don't phase you. When you ask her something and she just turns away and she's, you know, or she says something rude to you or whatever, just kind of acting like it doesn't bother you when really it does. Okay. So yeah, I might be, so the idea is like, I'm hurting inside, but I'm not going to show that outside. Okay. I need to put on that tough exterior, this idea that real men don't cry. And so, it kind of works. Like, you can put on this front and act like nothing's bothering you and all of that. But what happens is those emotions actually build up inside of you. So I want you to think that emotions are like farts. Okay. So it's like a gas that builds up in you. It's just part of being human. You're going to have emotions come. Okay. So if you try to hold those in, it starts becoming uncomfortable. It can even become harmful if you hold gas in for long enough. Okay. Another way to think about it is like water, like a stream flowing. So if you put a dam in that stream, okay, yeah, maybe people don't see those emotions running downstream, but it starts flooding upstream, right? It starts overflowing those banks, and the emotions start coming out in kind of weird ways. Okay, so what leads to is explosions or escapes from emotion. So you try to hold that fart in long enough, then just like the littlest thing tips you off, and all of a sudden you're raging, right? You're so mad because you've been holding anger in for so long, or you're kind of like holding on to that anxiety, and then like something triggers that anxiety more. You see your wife on her phone and you're wondering what she's doing, and now you have like a mental breakdown because you've been trying to hold that emotion in for so long. Or the sadness, right? Like, you're so sad about what's going on in your marriage, and then you see like a Kleenex commercial on a show, or like you're watching a show, and then just all of a sudden you start crying because it's been holding up for so long and just needs to come out, and it comes out in kind of weird ways sometimes. The other thing guys will do, and this is more when they're trying to keep it in, is trying to escape from emotion. So like, they're starting to feel sad. They're like, oh, I don't feel sad because I'm eating like 10,000 calories a day of junk food. And so that you don't feel it as much because that triggers some dopamine in your brain, and you feel better for a little bit, and you don't feel the emotion as much, but you end up feeling sad later that you've overeaten and you're unhealthy. Or they'll drink, right? Or they'll exercise a lot, you kind of like hoping that will get rid of their sadness, but it doesn't. And then they feel sad that didn't work, right? So guys will try lots of things to escape their emotions, um, and it just doesn't work. Okay. Again, it's like a fart, right? You try to escape a fart, it doesn't work. You can't like talk yourself out of a fart. You can't, run away from it. It just has to come out of you, right? Or with the stream, right? Eventually that stream has to break through. Okay. So another way explosions can happen, or like that dam building up, is taking it out on other people. So you're mad at your wife because she's having an affair or not having sex with you or whatever, and you take it out at people at work or your kids, okay, or even on yourself. Oh, I'm so mad at myself, right? um, that's another way that emotions will come out. Like that fart is going to come out, that water is going to pass through. It's just a question of how it's going to come out. Like, it has to be released, and it is going to be released one way or another. It's just you need a way to release that in a healthy way. And to me, that's what real emotional control is. That's why I don't like the phrasing anymore of emotional control or emotional management, which means like keep a lid on it, keep it down, don't feel it. Okay. I like the idea of releasing emotion in a healthy way. That's real emotional strength. Okay. Because the other thing, so if you're bottling up these emotions, that stress, it leaks out into focus, it leaks out into attention, it leaks out into sleep. You can't sleep well because all that anxiety and anger and sadness is built up. You can't focus because all that anxiety, sadness, anger is built up inside you. Okay. So that's what happens when you try to just keep your emotions in. Oh yeah, I'm fine, and then like the littlest thing sets you off, right? Because it's building, like that pressure is building, that gas is building inside you, that water is damming up behind, you trying to keep it all in. Okay. So what do you need to do instead? look, if you want to control your emotions in your Christian marriage relationship, and again, I don't like the word control, it's just probably what people are searching for and thinking they need to do. It's actually, you need to stop trying to control them. Stop trying to control them. Stop trying to manage them. Stop trying to keep a lid on them. Okay. Instead, there's 4 steps to follow. And guys, this is like a good, pretty big insight into what we do in the program, but I want to share it with you. So it's just 4 steps. So we breathe, we name the emotion, we feel it in our body, and then we release it in a healthy way. Okay. So instead of trying to control it, instead of trying to keep it down, all of that, breathe, name it, feel it, release it in a healthy way. Okay. So breathe. So just take 3 slow breaths. What this does, it activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest nervous system, the opposite of the fight or flight nervous system that you're often in with anxiety or anger in particular. So take those 3 breaths. So try it right now. Just take 3 breaths. Here we go. That's 1. That's 2. And that's 3. All right. So just notice, like when you take those 3 slow breaths, you are already calming your nervous system down. Okay. Next thing we want to do is name your emotion. So there have been studies done where people name their emotion and they're in an MRI machine, so it's monitoring their brain activity. And just by naming the emotion, it calms the intensity of that emotion down, right? To me, I used to think, oh, like it's just like putting the lid on it more. But actually, the way I think of it more now is just naming it helps release it from your body a little bit. Say breathing also, like imagine kind of breathing out the intensity of that emotion, or like breathing that emotion and releasing it. Okay. So name the emotion. Okay. There's an app called How We Feel that I definitely recommend as a way to help you get some vocabulary around naming your emotions. So you can look at that. Oh, I'm feeling something. Okay, let me take some breaths. Let me go into my app. Let me kind of take a look, see exactly what I am feeling right now. Oh, I'm feeling not just angry, but I'm feeling more irritated, or I'm feeling actually enraged, or there's different qualities. Oh, actually, I'm feeling contempt for my wife right now. So when you can name those things, it helps just name it, right, and that starts releasing it. Okay. Next thing we want to do is feel. So how do you feel in your body? So if you're feeling anger, how does that feel in your body? For me, usually I feel it in my chest. It's like a tingling. We give it a red color, chest, neck, kind of flows up and kind of out into my arms. That's how I feel it. Okay. So if I'm feeling anger, that helps me recognize it, right? So I can say, okay, I'm feeling anger. Let me take a couple breaths. All right. Anger, here it is in my body, and then release it. So release that emotion in a healthy way. So for anger, for example, one of my favorite releases is just moving my body. If I just shake my body, sometimes that's enough. If I'm feeling like a lower level of anger, if that anger is ramped up and it's like a really high energy, usually I need to go do some exercise. So I'll go like throw a medicine ball against the wall. That's the thing I like to do lately as a good release for my anger. For anxiety, kind of like shaking my body seems to help. Running, jumping, that kind of thing. For anxiety, a lot of that's thought work too. And so, releasing the emotion is important. But for anxiety in particular, and for really any of these emotions, we can kind of go back and try to figure out, what thoughts were generating that. That's a separate skill than what we're talking about, and one that we build in the program. But in the moment, you just need to release that emotion. It's a physical thing. You can't talk yourself out of a fart. You can't think yourself out of a fart. Like, it has to come out of your body. Same thing with an emotion. Okay. You can kind of think, okay, yeah, I need to just like change my thinking. That'll change my emotion. Not really. That emotion needs to come out of your body first. Okay. So find healthy ways to release it. If you're feeling sad, crying is a healthy release. If you're feeling anxious, moving your body is a healthy release. Okay. High energy stuff, typically release of your body. Low energy stuff, typically just kind of like letting it be there, letting it flow through you, paying attention to it. Sometimes that will be enough. Crying is a good one for sadness. Connecting with other people, that's a good one for feeling down as well. Listening to good music. Music is a great way to release almost any emotion. Playing instruments, whether you're listening or playing instruments, it just helps release that. It's a great release for emotion. Okay. So find a healthier release for your emotions. So, if you think that emotional guys are like not that attractive, think about any artist. Okay. artists are very attractive to women. Rock stars, right? They're releasing their emotion through their music. Okay. And that's very attractive to women. Okay. So another way to think about this, right? Like if emotions are like farts, you want to pass that gas, like not in the car, right? You want to like get out of the car or go to the bathroom, okay, or go outside. You don't want to release that on other people. Sometimes is it going to release that way? Yeah, probably. Especially as you're learning this, but it's a good habit to get into. So one of the things that I'm trying to do more with my family is that when I start feeling that irritation, just letting people know, hey, I'm feeling irritated. A lot of times just that is enough to kind of release the emotion, then you're okay. But if not, you're like, hey, I'm feeling irritated, I'm feeling angry, I need to just go take a break, release this in a healthy way. I'll be back once I'm feeling better. Okay. And now it might not sound as calm as that. You might, okay, like I'm feeling angry, I gotta go, and that's fine because that's true to the emotion, right? I'm feeling anxious, I gotta go move. I'm feeling angry, I need to get away just so I can take a break. You go, you release it, you come back, you're feeling better. Okay. So why does this work? Again, there's lots of research to support each of these techniques. You can go just search like research supporting naming your emotions, research supporting breathing to manage your emotions. They just calm your brain down. Okay. The other thing, it's more like a spiritual thing, or we don't maybe have all the science to understand this, but it's just true through experience that we need to let those emotions flow through us in a natural, healthy way and come out of us. Okay. One of the guys I worked with, he talked about our natural state is to have like love and energy, loving energy flowing through us. And so if there's something there blocking that, like anger or anxiety or whatever, it actually has to pass through us, and then that loving energy can come in. So again, to me, real emotional control or real emotional strength is being able to feel and release emotions effectively. It's not, I'm going to keep a lid on all my emotions. It's not, I'm never going to express my emotions. It's, yeah, I'm going to feel these emotions fully and release them in ways that are healthy. Okay. So look, and if you're a Christian guy, Jesus, look, he was mad sometimes. He turned over tables. He released anger in a way that was, effective, got his point across. He cried sometimes. He felt love for people for sure. He felt pain. He felt hurt. Um, he felt all those emotions. So if we're following Jesus, he wasn't this guy that just like kept in all his emotions all the time. He didn't. Okay. So there's no reason why we should keep our emotions in all the time. Okay, we need to release them in healthy ways. Emotions are an important part of life. It's feeling those highs, feeling those lows. It's what makes life exciting and fun. Part of living life to the full, like John 10:10 says. Jesus says, "I came to bring men life, and they can live it to the full." Okay? Emotions is a big part of that. So, in summary, trying to control your emotions in a Christian marriage relationship is doomed to failure because you can't control them. You can't stop yourself from ever passing gas. Think of it that way. Like trying to control your emotions is like never farting for the rest of your life. It's just not going to happen. You just need to at least do either explosions or escapes. Okay, like keeping in a fart or damming a stream. Right, it can come out in ways that are not good. Taking out other people, affecting your sleep, your appetite, your work. You know, so instead of trying to do that, trying to keep a lid on everything, not show anybody, breathe, name, feel, and release it in a healthy way. Okay. So yeah, if you're talking to your wife and you're starting to feel anxious, you know, you don't have to break down in front of her. If you're feeling sad, you don't have to start crying in front of her. Maybe you do sometimes. There's nothing really that wrong with that. Let her know, hey, like I'm sad that we're severed, that we're not connecting with each other. I do feel really sad about that. Letting yourself tear up. That's okay, right? It's not weak. That's releasing emotions in a healthy way. Okay. But if you're feeling really angry, you might say something like, hey, I'm feeling angry. I need to go get away so I, can release this in a healthy way. And again, maybe you don't say that in a calm voice. Maybe you're like, hey, look, I'm feeling really mad. I got to get away. Just give me a break. Right. I'm going to go release this emotion in a healthy way. Use that phrasing. I think that'll be a good way to do it. Then go run or do something high energy to get that emotion out of you. Okay. Release it. So the other thing this does, it shows a great example to your kids. They're going to have emotions. So instead of being like, oh, don't feel that, or they're like, oh, stop crying, or don't be anxious about that, don't feel sad about that, which is ridiculous. It's like telling them not to have a fart. Okay, instead, you're like, hey, It's normal to feel these emotions. Here's something I learned today. Let's take a couple breaths. Let's name it. Let's feel it. Let's find a healthy release for that. Let's listen to some music. Let's play some music. Let's dance around, right? Do something that will help you release that emotion. Okay, so now you're being a great example to yourself. You're showing your kids a new model that's much healthier and much better. Okay, and also it shows you as a full person to your wife. Hey, I'm a person that has all these emotions, and that's a lot more attractive to your wife than this closed off guy. If you want mental and emotional intimacy in your marriage, you have to actually feel emotions. If you want to feel empathy, which is feeling with people, understanding them, you have to know what emotions feel like yourself. Okay? So let yourself feel it. So this is a big part of Strong Men, Strong Marriages, the program. This is something that we all practice and try to learn each day. So and it's just part of what you need, though. So it's an important part, but it's not everything. You also need to build your spiritual strength, your mental strength, your emotional strength, your physical strength, your sexual strength. So we build all those strengths up so you're a strong, attractive guy that your wife's attracted to. And then we build your communication and intimacy skills so you can talk to her in ways that are effective, find win-wins, build that great connection, mental, emotional connection, then bring that fun, flirting, passion, and sexuality that makes marriage special. So learn how to do all of that in Strong Men, Strong Marriages. Visit strongmen.io or visit the link in the show notes. You'll fill out an application and we'll get back to you with your best next steps. All right. So stay strong, men. Again, visit strongmen.io. We'd love to have you as part of the program and or click the link in the show notes. Stay strong, men. We will see you next episode.